Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be a little bit of a show and tell and pre-planning for my garden this year. It is seed starting time here where I live. I am in southern Missouri. I think whenever I looked up these zones for planting, some of them said I was in zone 6 and then some of them said I was in zone 7A. Either way, our last frost usually happens sometime around the beginning of April, which means that we are good to go putting things in the ground anytime after that. Now, last year was a fluke. We had a really late snow. We had been up into the 80s, and then all of a sudden, just bam, we got slammed with like 3 feet of snow, which is really unusual for around here. I did look up the Old Farmer's Almanac, says that they're guessing our last frost date this year is going to be April 10th. So if I start my seeds now, should be ready to go in the ground sometime around the end of April, beginning of May. You don't want to put them in whenever they're super small, so this will give them plenty of time to get established. But I added quite a few new things to my garden this year. A lot of things that I have planted from seed are actually from seeds that I saved from my garden last year. So I will start, first off, the things that I use to start my seeds are the McKinsey seed starting trays that have little pellets inside, and what you do is you pour warm water over those pellets. They swell up to about an inch and a half big, and then you put your seed down in the middle, put the little lid on that tray to keep the humidity in. They worked really well for me last year, so I used them again this year. And as long as your plastic tray that you have does not get cracked, you can actually just buy, here they are, little individual boxes of just the pellets. The trays themselves, I believe, are $10 a piece, and it comes with 72 of these pellets, so you can put 72 seed starts into that tray. Now, the pellets, whenever you buy them individually, they only come in an 18-pack, so you have to get 4 of them to refill each tray, and they're a little over $3 a piece, so it is going to be a little more expensive to refill the tray than to just buy the whole tray over again, but you do whatever you want to do. And then Dollar Tree this year, if you're someone who shops there, they actually have little seed starting greenhouses there, and it doesn't say how big this is, but it's a pretty decent little tray. You could get, I would say, probably maybe 9 starts you could put in there, and then just pull them out as soon as they get big enough to transplant. So $1.25 for those if you just want to do something small scale. And I think whenever I was at Dollar Tree, they even had like little miniature bags of potting soil if you're only doing a couple of plants. But I'm going to start with vegetables. Actually, I'll start with herbs first. So I planted basil again this year. And I still have my basil plant from last year sitting right here next to me. I have a few flowers that I'm waiting for to finish drying up, but I actually refilled this pack with seeds that I harvested from it, and I have some right here where I'm finishing up harvesting those basil seeds. They're just little itty bitty tiny things, but we're growing basil again because I use it in a ton of stuff. And last year I learned how to can food, so this year we are going to try to can our own pasta sauce, and it takes basil, so I'm going to be growing quite a bit of that. Catnip. And now these herbs were from Burpee, so you'll see like the logo on some of them here. So these seeds I picked up from Menards. Like I said, some of them I saved from last year, and then some I got new this year, but these are Burpee seeds. So catnip, and it did really well last year. I brought it in over the winter, and my cats had a heyday with that. This is another Burpee seed. This is mammoth dill, and this pack is filled all the way up to here, and it is fat. Those are all seeds that I saved off of my plant last year. Dill gives you a ton of seeds once it flowers. So once you buy 1 pack of this, if you get even just 1 plant to go off of it, you'll probably never ever have to buy seeds for it again. And I use that when I'm making, of course, pickles and things. Then this year I added, this is new, and these are from American Seed Company. I actually found these at Walmart. So if you're looking at your Walmart for some cheap seeds, mine kind of hid them. They were a little bit sneaky. So they had a big display in the middle aisle of the garden section that had all of the Burpee brand seeds and the Fairy Moss or Fairy something is the other brand that's like really big. So they had the name brand seeds in the middle where everyone would see them, and then I just happened to wander down one of the aisles where like their little terracotta pots and things were, and on an end cap I found a bunch of other seeds, and they were 20 cents or 50 cents a piece depending on which ones you got. So this was one of the 50-cent packs, and this is spinach. I love fresh spinach in salads and in all kinds of dishes that I cook, so we are going to try our hand at some spinach. This is supposed to be really good to grow in pots. So I picked that one up. Then from last year, I did not have a good time with my green beans. They never sprouted. They did not do what they were supposed to do. So this year I tried them a different way, which is where you're supposed to put them in a damp paper towel inside of a plastic bag and sit them somewhere warm. It's been, I think, 8 days now. They still are not sprouting again. And that was these from Burpee. It is the Provider Garden Bean. No luck still so far. So I went ahead and while I was at Walmart in that cheap seed section, I found these Kentucky Wonder Garden Beans for 20 cents. So I went ahead and picked them up. So I'm trying both of them. We'll see if any of them work. But for some reason, I'm not having luck with beans. But then these peas, these are also from American Seed Company. These were 20 cents also at Walmart. I did them, same method. You soak them for like an hour in water, and then you put them in a damp paper towel in a bag. In 3 days, every single one that I had put in there had sprouted, and they are actually in little pots. I'll show you at the end, and they are coming up out of the dirt already. So these worked really well. Little 20-cent pack, and these are called Dwarf Gray Sugar Peas. So hopefully we'll get some peas this year. I'm trying out some green onions this year. These were also only 20 cents from Walmart. We'll see how they do. I've not grown green beans. Now, like, we have wild chives in the yard, but I've never tried onions growing them myself. Another 20-cent pack was watermelon. We're going to try. I've never grown watermelon before. I don't know if it will work or not, but we're going to give it a go for 20 cents. The only thing is with the watermelon seed packs, so all of these other packs had an abundance of seeds in them. They were like full. I got 2 seeds in one pack, so then I went back and bought another, and I got 4 seeds in that one. So whenever you plant the watermelons, you're probably going to want to buy 2 or 3 packs at least to get a good start on them. But I am going to try my hand at some watermelon. Then, things that I grew last year, my zucchini. I love zucchini bread and fried zucchini. So we are growing it again this year. Last year it did really well. Hopefully it does good again this time. This was a Burpee seed from Menards. And then this is a yellow summer squash. These did really well for me last year also. It's another Burpee seed, and I don't know, but if you check around in your area, you may find seeds cheaper elsewhere. Here in my city, I've checked every store that I shop at, and so far, Menards is the cheapest place to get your seeds. Everywhere else just charges the price that's marked on the pack. Menards is actually like a percentage off of whatever is on there. So like if they were marked, I think it was $1.69 or $2.69, they end up only being $1.19. And then it goes up from there. So like your most expensive pack, I think, only comes to like right at $1.99 or $2. So cheapest at Menards. But I got zucchini and yellow squash. And then this year, my daughter wanted to try to grow some pumpkins. So we're going to do jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. I've grown pumpkins before, but it was a long, long time ago. It was when my daughter was just a baby. I grew jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, ornamental gourds, and little miniature pumpkins. The only thing with these is that they will take over if you don't watch. Those vines like to come out and grab your grass, and they can spread quite a ways just overnight. But you do get a lot of seeds down in this pack. I planted, I believe 6, because that's how many little pellets you have in a row. It's 6 pellets. So 2 of them have come up quite a bit. I'll show you those in the trays, but we're going to try our hand at some jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. Then this year I'm also going to try, this was one of those 20-cent seed packs. I'm going to have a go at some carrots. So we will see how those go. We eat a lot of carrots, but I did see a video on YouTube, I think yesterday or the day before, that said you can actually grow carrots in containers also. So I might try a couple in a container and then the rest in the ground in the garden. One of the 50-cent packs that I grabbed was some cabbage. We love cabbage, fried cabbage, a pot of cabbage and potatoes, cabbage rolls, pretty much cabbage anything. So I'm going to try. I tried to grow cabbage my very first year in this house. My garden just did not do very well that year. The bugs got to the cabbage, but this is one of the things that they said it does much better in a container garden rather than straight in the ground. So I am going to get a couple of really big pots, and that's where I'm going to put my cabbage. Then I grew these Burpless Beauty cucumbers last year. They did really well. This is a burpee seed. And then this year, since I learned how to can, I am going to be growing, hopefully, the little seeds have taken off pretty good, so hopefully the plants themselves do well also. But these pickling cucumbers, they had 2 different kinds that said they were pickling cucumbers. They had this one, which was pick a bushel, and then the other one was like pickle bush or something. But if you don't know the difference, you can always just look on the back and it'll tell you, like these ones say they're good for pickling. If it's not labeled as a pickling cucumber, it's not going to hold up well during the pickling process. They're going to get mushy. So if you're someone who's going to make pickles, make sure you look for that label on your seed pack. Then peppers. I grew both of these from seeds that I saved last year and refilled these packs. First one is just sweet bell peppers, and this is just a mix. They're not like one particular color. I got green peppers and red peppers off of there last year. It just depends on how long you let them mature, but that was a burpee seed. And then also this hot salsa blend. Saved the seeds from these last year and planted them again this year. These are really, really good. So this one is a mix. So in here you get Anaheim peppers, Hungarian wax peppers, long slim red cayenne peppers, and let me tell you, they will light you up. I like spicy food, but I grew these last year and I pulled one of those cayenne peppers off that bush and took a bite out of it just to see how hot it was, and it made my eyes water. So be careful of the little skinny ones, but they are in there. And then there's jalapeno, and then there are ancho chilies in here. Now the seeds are all mixed, so you don't know what you're planting when you get them. I did not get any of the ancho chilies off of my bushes last year. The only things that I really got, I got a few jalapenos. I got those cayenne peppers. I had a ton of those cayenne peppers, which came in handy though. And then I got the Hungarian wax peppers. So hopefully this year I got a couple of the other seeds mixed in so I can try those peppers, but I will show you what I made. So this is a southern staple, but this is hot pepper jelly. So I made this October of last year, so it's good until October of this year. I've got my little label on there. This is really, really good. It is spicy. It's meant to be spicy. Now, I leave my seeds in because that's where all the heat is in a pepper. If you don't want too much heat, take the seeds out of your peppers whenever you make pepper jelly and just put the pepper flesh in there. I like mine spicy, so I left the seeds, and it is definitely spicy, but hot pepper jelly has a little bit of a sweetness to it to balance out the spice, but you do get a kick of the spice from those peppers. This is really, really good if you get some cream cheese at room temperature and then you pour some hot pepper jelly over it and then you eat it combined on a cracker or on like a little piece of toasted bread. Really, really good. You can also make, like they're calling it a hot salsa blend. So if you make homemade salsa and you want a little bit of a kick to it, this is a good mix for that too, but it made really, really good pepper jelly. Then onto the tomatoes. I am just regrowing these from seeds that I saved from last year. So I have my Romas again. This is the best kind for making pasta sauces. And I don't think my Roma seeds are coming up yet, but these two are. So I have super beefsteak. They did not do well last year. My garden as a whole did not do very well. Like there were a couple plants that did really good and the rest of them kind of putted out. But for some reason, my cucumber plants last year got like a fungus thing on them, even though I sprayed them with fungicide. It just took over and killed them. And then my tomato plants, the bugs got to them. I tried to stay on top of spraying them and put flowers out there that was supposed to repel the bugs, and they got to them anyway. So hopefully I can do something a little different this year to keep my tomatoes, because I really like having a nice egg and tomato sandwich. But the super beefsteak, and then I have these cherry tomatoes. Now the cherry tomatoes did really good last year. The bugs did not get to them. It was just my big ones for some reason. But all of the tomato seeds that I just showed were burpee seeds. Then this year, something that is a little bit different that we're going to try is we are going to try our own onions and potatoes. Now I don't have my seed potatoes yet. I still have to get those. But I did get these here at Menards. So these are by M&G Holland. You get 100 bulbs in here for $2.99 is what I paid for these at my Menards. So they had yellow onion, I believe they had white onion, and then they had red onion. Yellow and red are what we use the most around here, so I picked up one of each of those. Now that was for the $2.99 bulbs. They also had bigger bags for like $6 and something, where you could get like the really big, like I think Vidalia onions and then sweet onions. The seed potatoes that I'm going to get, I believe, are $3 and something for a few tubers of those. They had all kinds of things that you could get there, and really, really good prices on them. So that was it for what's going into the garden as far as vegetables and herbs. The next thing will be flowers. Now these two kind of go along with the garden because nasturtiums are edible. The flowers, the seed pods, the stems, all of that is edible. Last year, I had these ones, and these, I believe, were by that Fairy Moss brand. And I don't remember how much I paid for these, but I could not get these to sprout last year. So I tried them again this year, but I also went ahead and picked up a pack of a different brand. So these ones here were part of those 50-cent seeds from Walmart, but they are also two different kinds of nasturtium. So hopefully that will make a difference. So the ones that I could not get to work before are a Gleam Mix nasturtium, and then these ones here that I'm going to try this year are called Dwarf Jewel Mixed nasturtium. So I'm going to give them both a try. Hopefully I can get them to work. If not, I can pick them up from our nursery. That's what I did last year. I just bought a couple plants that they had started. But they have a really peppery flavor. So the leaves, not the leaves, the stems and the flower part almost taste like banana when you eat them. But the middle part and the seed pods taste like black pepper. So you can use them for seasoning food. You can put the flowers and the stems into salads. So they're really good to grow. Then for just like little fun flowers to look at, I am trying snapdragons. That's a burpee seed we're going to try coleus from seeds this year. I use a lot of coleus in the front of my house. It gets mostly shade. We've got a lot of trees out there, and then my backyard is mostly sun. So we do a lot of coleus. It is a good shade plant. And this is like just a mix. I don't know what all kinds are in here. It doesn't tell you specifically. Just says that it is rainbow mixed colors. Then portulaca, which I have planted before. I think this also goes by the name rose moss, if I'm not mistaken. Sometimes you'll see it labeled as that at the stores. I could not find it last year. I had this the year before, but I had bought it from one of the nurseries around here. Last year I could not find any. It is really pretty. It smells really good, but squirrels love it and they only love the flower part. So as soon as it starts to bloom, you'll see them. They'll come up and they'll just grab a mouthful of your pretty little flowers and then take off with them, and then you're just left with the green stuff. But the green looks nice too. So I am going to plant that again this year. My daughter wanted to try some Canterbury bells. So these are full sun to part shade on these. So they should work in a couple different spots in my yard. My daughter also picked out this Chinese forget-me-not. It also says it could go to part shade. And then some foxglove that she was really wanting. So this one also can go to part shade. And then this flower here is my grandmother and my daughter's favorite. These are morning glories. I planted these seeds. In 3 days, they were already starting to get leggy, and so they are planted in a hanging basket, and I have started another round of these seeds already. So they are taking off and doing really well. Now this is a full sun flower. Then these seed packs are also from American Seed Company, but these ones actually came from Dollar Tree when I was in there, and I found those little seed houses that I showed. I found these seeds, and they are all taking off like crazy. I'll show you in my little seed starter houses. They have just gone wild in there. So I got marigolds. These are excellent as using for a border around your garden. They keep rabbits out. So if you have an issue with rabbits getting to your stuff, plant marigolds. Space them about maybe 6 to 8 inches apart because they will bush out, but you don't want them so far apart that the rabbits find a space to fit in. It worked wonders for me last year. They stayed out of my garden completely. Now, if only they would have kept the bugs out. But I planted a ton of marigold seeds. Then they have this hummingbird wildflower blend. So they don't tell you specifically what seeds are in there. Or no, I guess they do tell you. So they are listed all along there. There is a ton of different seeds in here, but of course they give you the scientific names, so I'm not sure what I see. Some dianthus. Dianthus is really pretty. Some cosmos. Coreopsis is another pretty plant. I see delphinium, some kind of phlox in here. I don't know if that's the creeping phlox or not. And it looks like there's some zinnia seeds. And then there's a whole bunch of others that I have no idea what the scientific name is. But that has a lot of different seeds in there. So this was $1.25 from Dollar Tree. And it is full. They did not skimp on the seeds that they gave you. It is filled all the way up to here. I just planted a handful of them, and like I said, they took off. So the seeds from Dollar Tree are good. They are viable. The other seed that I got from Dollar Tree was this wildflower blend for birds and butterflies. And they're listing some of the flowers on here. So it looks like they have some alyssum. And was it alyssum? No, a stilbe. A stilbe is a shade plant. So these are all full sun. But alyssum is in there, chrysanthemum. They have calendula. Coreopsis again, some delphinium, more dianthus. It looks like there's some echinacea in there. Rudbeckia is in there, and some others that I don't know what the names are. But you get a ton of those in there, so those will be good for attracting pollinators into the yard, which is fantastic, because if you're going to save seeds from your plants, you have to have pollinators like bees and butterflies in your garden to transfer pollen from different plants into the seeds of others and actually make them viable so that they'll grow. And then the last two that I have, now these ones I have not started yet because you cannot start them too early or they won't succeed once you stick them in the ground, and that is sunflowers. So we have this mammoth sunflower and then a velvet queen sunflower. So you have like your nice bright yellow and then you get an orange. So these, if you're going to start them indoors, in my area, I have to wait at least like 2 more weeks before I can start these. Otherwise, you just wait until there's no threat of frost and your ground comes up to, I believe it's at least 60-degree soil. Don't quote me on that. And then you have to put them down in the ground, but I'm going to start mine inside just to make sure they're good and sturdy before they go out. And the very last thing that I have on hand are these elephant ear plant bulbs. I grabbed these from Walmart. These are from, what brand are these? Looks like Euro Blooms. Euro Blooms is the name of the brand. You get 5 bulbs in here for $5.97, which I did not think was bad at all. They are supposed to get to a height of 48 to 72 inches. So that's 4 to 6 feet tall. And their leaves get huge. Yeah, they don't tell you how wide the leaves get, but if you've ever seen anybody that has one of these plants, they just get massive. I mean, giant. And these ones here said that they can actually be grown in a container as well as in the ground. And they show it in a nice big pot on there. So I think we probably will try maybe 1 or 2 in a nice big pot, maybe out on the porch, and then some others in the ground around the yard. But that was everything as far as the seeds that I've got, the seeds that I've started, and then of course things that can't go into the ground like the onions and those elephant ears until the threat of frost is completely gone. Right now it's just guesstimated when the last frost will be, but you don't want to stick your stuff out too early. So I'm going to show you my little grow trays now and how well those seeds that I started have done. So this is what I did for my seed trays. I have just a cheap like $15 plastic shelf that I've bought a few years ago. I had 3 trays started, and then down on the very bottom, those little pots are my peas that started growing. So here is what my seedlings are looking like inside. And I did find out, so each of these trays has 12 rows of those pods, and a standard index card has 12 lines on it. So that is how I've labeled mine, so I know what plant is in which space. So here are flowers. I've got all those marigolds that are coming up. There's some forget-me-nots popping up, some extra watermelon seeds over here on the side. Then in this pod right here, you can see all the humidity that they hold in, which is really nice. If I can get this off, you can see those are cucumbers that are ready to be transplanted into a bigger pot. Some tomato seeds over here. And then that bad boy right there and that one that's popped up are pumpkins that are ready to be moved to a bigger pot. And then the very last tray down here is where I tried to start my green onions and some of the other flowers. So far, the only ones that have come up, if you can see down in there, Guess it's going to be kind of hard. You can see just a little bit of green right back in there, but that is portulaca plants growing in there. So far, they are the only ones that have sprouted out of that tray. And then down here on the bottom, like I said, it only took 3 days for those peas to germinate. I stuck them in these little pots 2 days ago, so this is day 2, and you can see them already popping up through the dirt with leaves on them. This one back here, you can really see the leaf on that one. Here's another that's coming up right there. So they are doing really, really good. I'm happy with them. I'm ready to go out now. I have to get some potting soil to transplant a lot of these. And what I do for potting mine is over the years, whenever I have bought plants from the nursery, I just saved the little plastic pots that they've come in, and that is what I use now for all of my little seedlings when they're ready to go into something bigger. I just reuse those plastic pots, and then they grow in those until they're ready to go into the ground. But yeah, everything is taking off, as you can see. And over here, these really big ones that are almost to the top of the container, those are those wildflower mixes from Dollar Tree. So like I said, they are taking off. Those seeds are definitely good. If you want to put $1.25 out, you get a ton of them. Okay, so that has been everything for this video today about gardening, the things that I've started, things that I'm planning to do. I am in the process of editing the video that I promised you guys on how to make those reusable shopping bags. It was a bit of a long project, so it is a bit of a long edit that's going on right now, but that should be coming out in the next couple of days. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up so other people can see it. If you've not subscribed to the channel yet and you like the content here, please consider subscribing also. That helps us out. And if you would like to support the channel monetarily, I do have a Buy Me a Coffee page. There will be a link to that down in the description box. You're never obligated to do anything like that. It's just if you want to give a little bit of money, then you can that way. And I just realized I forgot to show you that very first batch of marigolds. So this was 3 days of growth. So from seed, put in the pod, to 3 days. And they are actually about twice this tall. I put half of them down into the dirt. So that batch is ready to go. But that was the end of this video. I will catch all of you guys in the next one. Let me know what you're planting in your gardens. I always love to hear about your experiences and what your favorite vegetables and recipes are. So post those in the comments down below as well, and I will catch you in the next one.